I am so pumped for tonight because honestly, I haven't talked to this dude in a couple years, and we go way back to high school, and have some funny ass stories. I'm excited to get into that. But we have hip hop artist Mike Styles, Shelby County's own Mike Styles, on Highly Inappropriate. Welcome to the show, guys. It's gonna be a fucking banger. Let's fucking go.
Let's get drunk.
Fuck yeah.
Like I'm here for it.
Is this music gonna start or what? Probably not. Yep. Let's go. Every fucking week.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to Highly Inappropriate.
I don't think she's going to be expecting something big, do you?
What, like anal?
Whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Highly Inappropriate.
Right, so let me get this straight. So I'm going to pay for a blowjob and I got to pay for a goddamn hotel room too? Well, that just seems like I'm spending too much money for nothing. I got a house. You can just get your ass over here and I can just do the blowjob here.
Highly Inappropriate.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
They can kiss my fat vagina, because I'm bringing the motherfucking pain.
Welcome to Highly Inappropriate, guys. I'm so pumped for this show. Let me tell you why. Because we just had our marketing meeting, and I basically got to spill what I've been obsessed with for the last like 3 or 4 months back to these guys. And, you know, we're not going to talk really about what our plans are. You know, as they come to us, of course we will, but it's going to be an exciting year and I can't fucking wait. Also, I have one of my good friends on the show, hip hop artist Mike Styles. We're going to get into that interview here in just a second. But before we do, I got to tell you guys, there actually is dangers to smoking pot. And let me tell you why, because this week, like the dumbass I am, I get high as shit and I decide I'm going to go get some Taco Bell. Well, I forgot that I had literally in my card shown 0 miles since I left Shelbyville that morning. So I drove from Shelbyville to Morristown on E, and I'm thinking, okay, I should be fine to at least get to 9 and 52. There's a gas station. I'm like, I should be fine. So if you're not from Central Indiana, you have no idea what I'm talking about. I apologize. But, you know, all in all, I drove about 20 miles. Well, I completely forgot to stop at the gas station. I turn right on 9. I head north for about 3 miles and my car starts chugging and I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, I'm like, you know, I'm literally like maybe a half a mile from the gas station. I'm like, you know, in past cars, I've been able to like chug down the road at least to get to the gas station. No. So I go to pull a U-turn and the car just dies. I'm literally right in the middle of the fucking road. So I put the bitch in neutral. I get out and start pushing it. I'm pushing it off into the side of the road. I about hit this guy's mailbox. I go off into a ditch. I'd have to jump into my car and jump on my brake pedal. And yeah, it was a disaster. And it didn't help that my mom and grandma bought me gas and I couldn't get the gas in there and I was already pissed off. So here I am screaming at my mom and grandma on the side of the highway. My car's in some guy's yard and I about fucking took out his mailbox. So I've had a great week, guys.
I don't think I've never ran out of gas.
Nope.
You've never ran out of gas, really?
Gas, yeah.
I've done it twice and that, yeah, I'm not proud. So
Can I tell a quick story of running out of gas, Matt?
absolutely. That's Juice, our producer. What up?
What's up?
This is your first official producing show, though, by the way.
Absolutely. No, one of the times I ran out of gas, my car had got a blown head gasket. So my stepdad and I like put it back together. I actually took all the engine parts like completely apart, made me clean it with gas and get the gunk off of it completely, put it all back together. And there was one bolt left over when we were done. And my stepdad was like, I don't really know where that goes. And I was like, I definitely don't know where that goes. So we just we started the car, ran fine, whatever. It was good. I drove it to go to football practice, was driving on my way home from football practice. All of a sudden it starts kind of shaking a little bit. And it's like the gas tank's on E. And I look at my buddy that I had taken to football practice. I was like, dude, what I'm going to do is we're not going that fast. I'm going to open the door and jump out and like start pushing the car uphill because we were getting ready to hit a hill. And I was like, for sure I can do this. Like I'm fast enough to do this. And I look over at him and I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. And we're going like 20 miles an hour. Like there's no fucking way that I could definitely run 20 miles an hour. So I open the door and like jump out and immediately just fucking face plant and skid through the fucking like the concrete road and kind of try to like hop up again and like catch the car. And by then it's starting to kind of pull off the road too. So he reaches over and grabs the steering wheel. It was just kind of a mess. And I fucked myself up pretty bad doing that.
Well, hey, we're glad you're still here, buddy. Speaking of, go ahead. Speaking of glad to be here as well. Chris Duncan, you had something to say, buddy? Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
I was just saying that's our weekly Juice getting fucked up story. Like last week he told us he shot himself. This week he's jumping on moving cars.
I believe it or not, now he's a wholesome fucking dad with a wife that I don't think hates him. And of course, Josh, thanks for joining us. Elliot Beaver is not here. Beaver, did he sleep in twice in a row now? Like, who's going to give our NBA update? I think it's going to have to be maybe our guest.
Time. He's having a rough time on the road, man. The truck is job. It's getting him, dude.
You know, them lot lizards are keeping him young and wholesome. I guarantee it. Should we go ahead and introduce our guest, Duncan?
I don't know. We could maybe talk about us a little more.
I've got more stories to getting fucked up.
I'm excited. I don't even know if he wants me to drop his real name or not, so I won't. But my buddy from Shelby County way back, we used to party our ass off together, which we're going to tell some of them stories. Absolutely. We're going to get into some dirt a little bit. But I have Mike Stiles. What up, buddy? He's joined us from Salt Lake City, correct?
That's correct. Good old Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. I'm so jealous. I want to be out on the West Coast so bad. It is so gorgeous out there, and the weather is dry. I'm miserable like 90% of the time here in Indiana just because of the weather.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, I left chasing a dream, right? And I will say I didn't know the weather was going to be this great. I fucking love it.
Now, were you living out in LA for a little bit?
No, but I was visiting frequently. So I came straight to Salt Lake City with intent to go into Los Angeles. Then COVID obviously happened. So that kind of put a damper on those things, you know, the entertainment industry was shut down. But I kind of found a life here, which was, you know, that was what we were here for. You know, that's really what kind of made me move, was get my shit together.
I've been to Salt Lake City one time. I was there for a week. It was training for one of my mortgage loan officer jobs, and it's stunningly gorgeous. And like, we got to go, I think it's the KeyBank Tower there. We got to go to like the top floor of the KeyBank Tower, and the views in Salt Lake with the mountains in the background. It's like probably next to nothing as far as some of the views I've seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. So if you've never been to Salt Lake, I know there's a bunch of Mormons there. They're great people, etc. The drinking laws are kind of stupid at times. Like they have limits on the beer, like the amount of alcohol and beer. We can get into that, Mike, whatever. What I loved about you, buddy, is you straight up said we can talk about anything. You said we can talk about what's going on in the world. We can talk about mental health. We can talk about motivation. And honestly, that's pretty much our show. We talk about everything. So I'm excited you're here, buddy. And I do want to ask you, do you remember the first time we ever hung out?
I mean, if it involved drinking, no.
Well, you know, this is funny. It's because it's before I ever drank a single drop of alcohol. And all I remember is you were with John Southworth and KT, and you came over to my house. I'm pretty sure Nick Rice was with us as well. And John had hyped me up as being crazy. So like, I felt like I had a reputation to uphold. So I told John, I said, take me to a hotel. And we went to a hotel in Greenfield, and I literally just stripped down to my boxers and jumped right in the pool. And we weren't staying there. And then we went to Walmart and got air lunch. Oh man. And you were just like, like, who the fuck is this dude? And we've been friends ever since, man.
I mean, it sounds pretty, it sounds pretty Indiana, Shelbyville, right? Go to Greenfield, right? One of these country towns surrounding you that end up at Walmart.
Yep.
Right?
That was the only thing to do.
I was fucking every day, like 5 times a day. In McDonald's parking lot.
Walmart and Taco Bell. Absolutely.
Basically.
So let me ask you, man, and this is funny because you've told me this story before. So why hip hop?
I mean, I think it just naturally came to me. Ultimately, I wanted to be a singer. I thought I was going to be like an R&B sensation. Love to dance, all that good stuff. Michael Jackson fan, Usher, all those guys. And the voice just didn't come around. And I'd kind of been writing songs for a while. And then I met, I was cool with Tyler Hankins.
Yep.
And he was rapping. He kind of had his thing going there on his own. And, we had the same French class. And I just remember I kept writing raps. And I was writing like "I Get Money" by 50 Cent. Like I was like, this is my first like remix ever. And it was so cool. It was like so basic Humpty Dumpty rhymes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just kept coming to me. It was my therapy. It still is to this day. It allows me to tell my truths. And I don't know. It's just like, it's what my go-to. Like making music is just fun.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Cause you've actually told me that story. It's like you said you couldn't sing. So you're like, hip hop kind of fell into my lap. And honestly, I love your stuff. I've been, we talked about before the show. I used to play one of your songs before the Colts tailgate. So For My Team was the name of the song, correct?
Yeah. It was track 4.
Yep.
On my second mixtape.
Yep. I had that mixtape. I remember I downloaded it and I used to play that song before tailgates, dude. Hilarious. But I do have a funny story. And I wonder if you remember this. We used to party at Denham Fasseld's house. You remember that? Back in the day.
Yep. And
I remember one time you were dancing for everybody because you talked about you love dancing. And that's what I was thinking, like, why didn't you go and be a backup dancer or go and do something along those lines? Because you are an amazing dancer. But I remember one day you're at Denham's dancing, and this is right after I met you too. And it was hilarious because you're dancing in front of anybody and you're like, can anybody else dance here? And I was like, fuck it, I'll get out there and show. And I want to say, I'm very proud to say that Mike Brewer is the first Black gentleman that ever noticed that I was a good dancer. So we will always have that bond, buddy.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. We will always have that bond. But yeah, dude, a phenomenal dancer. And I, unfortunately, every time you've played in Shelbyville, I've had a wedding to DJ. I want to see you live. And hopefully when all this bullshit's over, we'll figure out a way that all these goons can go see you live. I think that would be awesome for sure. But I do want to dive into, I sent you a questionnaire. I don't know if you have that handy, and I can ask you here on the spot too. It was basically, it involves hip hop and some of the favorites. And Doc, you sent this to me. So you want me to give you the reins here? Do you want to ask the questions or do you want me to, buddy?
It don't matter. You can go ahead.
Okay.
I can do it. You want me to do it?
Go ahead. Do you have it ready?
Yeah, I got one up.
Okay.
Yeah, Doc, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. I kind of sent it to everybody to kind of get everybody's feel on this. Well, I'll just kind of ask one and we'll go around and maybe give our answer and then we'll just move on to the next one kind of thing.
Yep.
Right on top of the list, favorite rapper of all time.
Mike, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I can start. I'll be honest. I looked at these and I looked at these and I looked at these. These are like the dreaded questions ever.
It's so tough.
My favorite, all time. It's like I have seasons with artists, right?
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like like whatever emotions you're going through at different time periods. Like I know Matt's a big T.I. fan. Like he was my favorite rapper of all time at one point. That's the only thing I listen to. But okay, I'll go ahead and say I feel like I'll say the one that had, I guess, the biggest influence on me as an artist. It's kind of a toss-up, but actually no, it's fucking Lil Wayne. Yeah, it kind of goes back and forth, but like Lil Wayne's got to be. He gives me all the drive. Like when I just listen to him rap, it's just like you can just tell he literally holds no bars, literally. And
his one-liners, we talk about this on the show all the time. His like one-liners are like it's next to none. Like he's not necessarily a great storyteller, but his just just one after another. It's a great line after another. It's fire.
Yeah,
especially his old shit. It's next to
he's
none.
like Westbrook to me. Like not like where he ranks as far as like compared to Westbrook in basketball, but like energy level, he always brings it. You're never gonna hear Wayne on a song and say, "Did this motherfucker try today?" Like you're never gonna question that. So I think that's why I like Wayne.
All right. Doc, you want to answer?
Yeah, I mean, you already know my answer. It's got to be Eminem for sure. I feel like what you said about the seasons thing, because I honestly understand what you mean by that. Like I'll go different like months of one guy and then like it'll switch up. But I mean, for me, just like the content and just all around, like since the beginning, like when he came out and just where I was in life and stuff, that's who I got to roll with. It's got to be him. And it's not just because he's white. I know it's what people are going to say, but, but
You
yeah.
said it. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z is right there behind it though too. It's him and Jay are pretty close for me.
Oh yeah.
Josh, who's your favorite?
Man, it was really, really tough to decide, but I ended up going with Kendrick Lamar.
K-Dot.
I like it.
Yeah, just
solid.
Yeah.
just
We like that over here.
yeah, lyrical, and then just the music, the way he puts projects together they're like a story from front to back. So I really appreciate that. So definitely him.
And Juice, yours was great too, because honestly, yours is an unsuspected one, not somebody that I would picture being your favorite, believe it or not. But I love, by the way, go ahead.
Yeah, I always look at music. When you're probably between 15 and 20 years old, your life kind of crystallizes, and that's the shit that gets you going, the stuff that you really, really like, and when you hear it, you get that nostalgia factor. E40 is my favorite rapper of all time because the Ghetto Report Card came out in I don't know, sometime around when I was in high school, and every song on that fucking album is a banger. Every fucking song.
Flat.
And when I hear that album come up on my iTunes, it takes me right back to driving a fucking 1997 baby blue Lumina on 100-spoke rims with a sound system, just fucking jamming, dude, and just having a good fucking time. No worries in the world. I thought I was the fucking coolest dude in the fucking block. I will always love E40. That's my favorite rapper of all time.
Although I will go on the record to say that I think the early 2000s might be the hottest era of hip hop ever. I think from 2004 to 2008 might be my absolute favorite, because honestly, that's when T.I. was at his top. Eminem was still super, on top. Of course, Lil Wayne was starting to hit his peak. It was just, to me, and again, that's when I was in high school, like you talked about, Juice. And when I DJ, that's what I think about. I'm like, what was popular when these assholes were in high school? And that's what I always play. And a lot of people don't think like that. And I'm telling you, that's brilliant. And it's funny you said that. So, Duck, next question, buddy. Oh, I didn't answer my question. I didn't answer.
Yeah.
You already said it. T.I. is my favorite. Tech 9 too. Those 1A, 1B. It depends on what week you ask me. T.I. for his flow. Tech 9. He just doesn't get the respect he deserves. For him to be an independent rapper and be as big as he is, it's incredible. I mean, and it doesn't get respected enough. But yeah, definitely, those are my top two for sure. Next question, Duck.
Next question. This one might start a little rap war, man. We might have some diss tracks from Mike Styles after he answers this question. Rapper you dislike?
I thought about this one a lot, and I was like, man, I gotta be careful about this with this cancel culture and shit. I was like, they're gonna pull this up fucking 3 years from now, and I'm gonna get ripped for it on the Breakfast Club or some bullshit. I will say this though, I'm not avoiding the question, but I'll say I'd rather go with what I dislike about hip hop rather than saying an artist I dislike, because I think I find things I like about all artists. Like I really do. You know what I mean? Like there's 6ix9ine is on my fucking workout playlist, right? He's still on there. You know what I mean? He's just on there. I don't fuck with the shit he does. But the songs I found first, I like them. So with that being said, so I can preface that, what I don't like about hip hop probably is just the gimmicks, right? The people who just, and this is music probably as a whole, the people who just don't do it for the love, and they just do it for the money or the clout. The clout chasing is probably the biggest thing that, I have an issue with now in today's hip hop world is, everybody wants to just put some shit out because they want to be famous or they want those clicks online. And, I wish people would just do it more for the love of the music. You know what I mean? And there's just a lot of great artists out there, myself included. But that's probably what I dislike the most, just the clout chasing that comes with hip hop now, to where it seems like you can just hop on a record, say whatever the fuck you want with no meaning involved and just try to collect a fucking paycheck, and then you don't even give a shit about the culture. Like, that's what I hate. That's what I dislike. rather than an art.
That's like one of the best answers you could have possibly given, man. I agree with
100%.
absolutely everything you said. Like
Yeah.
people that don't do it for the sport of it is what gets me. Like to me, it's like a sport. Like I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Like this is how it's like a competition thing to me. And that I don't know. I agree with everything you just said, but mine is rapper I dislike is anyone that mumbles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can't complain.
Chris is punching down on that. I feel like that's an easy one.
That's anyone that mumbles, boys. And
You don't even have to explain that. Josh, least favorite rapper.
Yeah, this was tough. I ended up going back and forth on two of them, and I think the first one I kind of changed because I didn't want Juice to whip my ass was E40, but then I changed it to Migos.
Yeah, dude. Anybody like if every song that they have sounds like like that same. Like, Snoop even made fun of it.
I think Migos is nice though. You really dig into their catalog. They be talking some shit in there.
The Migos
you really get in there. Yeah, Migos we talk, especially Takeoff. He's like the uncle. He's like the oldest one. He be talking that shit. But I feel you.
Juice, who's your least favorite?
My least favorite also comes from kind of a personal story. My wife's family always said, like, because they met me when we went on a vacation to Florida, and I was just like being my normal self. Like we got to a bar and I was like the first one dancing in the middle of the club, like having a good time and just like getting everybody hyped. And they were like, dude, you act like Pitbull. And I was like, dude, I fucking hate that guy. Like I hate that music. I hate the rapper. Like I'm not a fan of him. And but they compare me to Pitbull. They tell me it's Pitbull.
Too much dancing, man.
Mr. Worldwide.
Middle-aged women from all backgrounds are attracted to the Pitbull concert. Where you'll find all the most.
if you don't,
I want to open for Pitbull so bad.
it'd be huge for you.
Just fucking every 30-year-old to 55-year-old.
You just have to get up there, take your goddamn shirt off, dude, and fucking do
exactly. Sales. Boom.
I mean, God, I've never had abs in my life, and I used to get on stage at the casino and have old women fucking throwing their panties at me, goddamn near.
Well, shit, they might throw pussy.
Do your thing, buddy. Rapper I dislike, for sure, Mike, we've had this conversation several times. Drake. And what's funny is I like certain Drake songs, but we need to stop pretending Drake's a rapper. He's a hip hop artist. Like maybe there's certain segments. I don't like calling him a rapper or pretending that he's even hard on any level. Like I hate him down there on the sidelines at NBA playoff games. Cause I'm like, if they would just let me sit next to this guy, I mean, I would be right in his grill talking shit. Mike, I almost got Darren Williams to fight me, dude. This is no joke. I'm down there on the sidelines talking shit to Darren Williams. There's nothing but me and a security guard between me and Darren Williams. And I got to get my buddy Scott Brandon on the show one day because he was at the game with me. It was hilarious.
Dude, I met your favorite rapper, Mike, Lil Wayne. I didn't meet him, but he was at an Indiana game, and it was Chris Bosh, and he came to Indiana when he got accused of fucking Chris Bosh's wife, and they banned him from Miami Arena. So he flew to Indy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And went to the game. And every time Chris Bosh went to the free throw line, our fan section was going Wheezy, Wheezy. And he heard us when Bosh was at the free throw line on the baseline, and he stood up and pointed at us pointed at us. And just
remember that?
Fucking diamonds, dude.
I was at that game. Were you in Area 55 then? I was in G2 then, that game.
I was in 55.
Okay, yeah. You're opposite the corner, but yeah, I remember that game very well. Next question, Dunk.
Next question is, this is a good one. This is probably my favorite. Well, no, the next one probably. But anyways, rapper that grew on you. So like we were talking about before the show, like necessarily you weren't really feeling him that much, and then he grew on you, and now he's like he's in your rotation. For me, it's actually.
I will say.
Josh.
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
No, my bad. I jumped. Go ahead.
No, do it. No, you got it. You're feeling it. Run it.
No, I was just gonna say mine is Josh's favorite, Kendrick Lamar. when I first heard him, I couldn't get past the voice. I don't know what it is about the lower voice, like the little Boozy voice. I can't stand Boozy because of that voice for some reason. But like but Kendrick grew on me. As soon as I heard the latest album before the one, I think when it was beginning to end awesome. And I don't know, Kendrick is my answer. He grew on me a lot. What you got, Mike?
Right. I'd say mine was Tyler the Creator. He at first I was like, man, this dude's weird, right? I don't even like using weird anymore because like we're all fucking weird. That's just I guess probably a fucked up way to say we're different. But it was like initially I was like, man, I can't get with it. I wasn't with that at the time. But man, the more and more I really listened to his music, and then he dropped his album Flower Boy, which was when he actually, which is interesting. We talk about everything on here. When he kind of came out, right? He was like, yo, I'm bi or I'm gay, whatever he may be. And he made his best music, in my opinion, when he became, his complete self. So when he really just got vulnerable and was like, yo, let me tell my truth. Let me just be myself. Let me be the person that I am. Even if it is something that, I'm not gay, but I'm still like, yo, I feel this guy. Like, I feel where he's coming from. He's talking real shit. I think that's when I was like, yo, I fuck with this. So Tyler the Creator, Flower Boy, great album. You guys can check that out, Kev.
I can't miss the opportunity to throw shots at Beaver since he's not on the show. So maybe Beaver will say more than 5 words after he comes out as gay, guys. That's a conclusion. I wanted Beaver to be on the show because we're going to get into the LeBron talk here because me and you have had some barbs thrown at each other over LeBron James, and I was hoping that Beaver would be here to be involved because Beaver always gets involved in those conversations too. But
you can come to Salt Lake. We got a great LGBTQ A, B, C, D, E, F, G community out here.
Hell yeah, dude. Dunk, did you go ahead? Josh, I'm fucking stoned out of my mind right now. I was like, where are we at? I was like, I gotta connect the dots here. Okay, let's go.
So the one that grew on me the most was Yellow Wolf.
I loved him from the beginning.
I didn't really care for him too much when he first came out, but started getting he grew on me for sure after 2 or 3 albums.
Nice.
Yeah, once M signed him.
I think that he does a lot of creative shit that some guys ain't doing. So feel it.
What you got, Juice?
The one that grew on me, I was kind of like hanging out with some buddies, and they were playing some newer like hip hop for me, and we were partaking in some recreational substances, and DaBaby. When I would hear DaBaby, I was like, what the hell is this shit? Before we were a little messed up, and then when I was a little messed up, a little turned up, I was like, okay, I can fuck with this. This is some good shit. And now it's on my workout playlist.
Here we are, bub.
Talking about earlier.
Yeah, I fuck with him too. I ain't gonna lie. He's one of the new guys that actually are on my rotation, like on Apple Music.
I'm not gonna lie. That was my original pick, but I was like, I don't know if I want to say I like DaBaby here on the show, but Juice, I'm glad you came up and you took the leadership role there, buddy. I appreciate that. So, mine's Rick Ross, and I don't know why when Rick Ross first came out, I didn't feel him at all, and now I love Rick Ross. Like I probably listen to The Devil Is a Lie probably every day before I go to the gym. That's on the gym playlist for sure.
Coming from a guy that hates Jay-Z. He listens to Devil Is Alive.
No, why do you say I hate Jay-Z? I've never said I hated Jay-Z. I think, to our next question, I think Jay-Z is the most overrated rapper of all time. I will go there.
Which brings us to the next question.
Yeah, exactly.
Overrated rapper.
Segue.
I'll just start there, Mike. Sorry to cuck you there, buddy, but since we're on the topic, I love Jay-Z. I just don't think he belongs in anybody's top 5. Top 10, yes, but no top 5. I think he's overrated. He's not even the best rapper from New York, in my opinion. So,
do you think that? I was gonna say, can we dive in on just a little bit, hot take? Do you think it's because he's like a mogul and he has so much success business wise, and people kind of just look at him overall as like his success rather than just his music? I mean, do you think that may be why they put him in the top 5?
I mean, that probably has a lot to do with it. And I'm not knocking him for that. I mean, I think it's awesome what he's done. Like him, Dre. I mean, who's it? Him, Dre, and Diddy are the three billionaires, right? Like, is that correct? Those are the three.
Dre is under
Correct.
it, and actually since the wife divorce thing.
That fucking bitch. No,
We're not counting that. She wasn't with him shooting in the gym.
yeah,
so,
Dre's still up there. T's and P's, by the way.
Still 800 million, so he's doing very well.
I think
Yeah.
Mike brought up a good point though, because when you think of Jay-Z, what do you think his occupation is? Everybody that you ask is going to say he's a rapper. So then that's going to automatically put him in top fives for people, because even though the reason he's in front of our face so much is because of all of the business success.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna deny. There's a lot of. I mean, I love. Like I said, I love Jay-Z. I just think he's overrated. Like I think there's a lot of people that I would put above him. That's all I'm saying.
He's got bars, man. You can go back to 96, Reasonable Doubt, and there's nobody doing that flow today. You know what I mean? Like that stuff still stands, and it's like over 20 years old.
The Eagles are my shit.
Hey, Dunk, did you get off there? Is it
But anyway,
But anyway, most overrated. Who you got, Mike?
dude, honestly, I don't really have one, and that's not me trying to cop out again. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, because I have this perspective. Like, I'm a glass half full type guy, so I'm always gonna give people kind of a benefit of the doubt in what they do. I don't know. I mean, I probably have to say, if I had to say anything like most recently that was in front of my face, was probably like Playboy Cardi. Like he just dropped the album, and like I might get shit because I didn't even listen to it. But I think he's overrated because of shit fact. I saw him on like TRL, right? Like 3 years ago, when his first like big song dropped, the Millie Rock joint or whatever. And then he was just an awful performer. Like, I'm not scared to say that. Like, his entertainment was terrible. He didn't work a crowd very well. And with that being said, I'm like, if you don't have the full package, not saying you have to, but I'm not about to give you all this praise. I'm not about to say that you're this and that. And I think there's a lot of people were raving about him for a very long time. And it was like, what did he really do? Like, he had a fucking hit song, and then Drake threw him on a song on his most recent album, and he got some more love. But other than that, like, I just think he's very mediocre.
Yeah, I think it's talking about live music. I think it's funny you say that, because honestly, I'm such a big live music person that the reason I like a lot of the people, a lot of the bands, a lot of the artists I do is because of how great they are live. And that's how Tech Nine became one of my favorite rappers. Not to cut you off there, Dunk. What were you saying, buddy?
If you live wise, DMX is probably the best I've ever seen live, dude. DMX live, the energy is just insane.
No,
but
if
I could go for the most overrated, I have to say like 6ix9ine, probably. Like, like he's like, I don't understand how he's that big. Like, I don't like, you can't do that and be that big. Like,
I mean, he was good though. He had a run. He had a run, in my opinion.
That's an interesting dude right there, though.
He's a very interesting
dude. If you
dude.
dig into all that shit where he's just like shit talking people just straight to their face and like do something, and he kind of called a bunch of fake ass rappers out. And
well, he had a gang behind him.
Yeah,
and
that's this shit's all interesting, man. It's
like you said, clout god, right? So that goes back to that clout point, you know.
Exactly.
Like I thought he made really hype music, right, which is very entertaining. It was like kind of almost like, you know, rock and roll, heavy metal, like banger type shit, but over trap beats. And I'm like, that's cool. But I think it was the clout, you know, that really got him. Like, dude, you're doing all this shit for attention, like just let your music speak for itself.
Right.
And that's what got him caught up. And that's why I can't fuck with like him anymore, because I'm like, yo, you sold yourself out and you decided to get involved in gang culture because you thought that was your quick way to get some money. And then look where it got you. That's why when people are like, oh, he's snitching, I was like, I don't feel sorry. You know, and I don't really care at the end of the day, because I'm like, yo, you decided to make a decision to try to get in this game based off of something that people really die over like every day.
Right.
You know, so for me, I was like, yo, the clout literally almost got him killed. And now to this day, he can't even fucking leave his house, you know, without looking over his fucking shoulder.
I mean, as soon as anybody finds out where he's like living, they like move him instantly. Like,
yeah, like who wants to do that, man? Like,
he's gonna be a real clean cut dude here in a couple years. He's gonna be like on witness protection, fucking change his name.
You can't really clean
He'll
cut those
probably- he'll
tattoos
probably
on
move
your
out the
face,
country.
though.
I mean, you can get them lasered removed. I know a guy that had a neck tattoo. It has no neck to it, not tattoo anymore. And I was like, well, at what point when you got a neck tattoo, like, did you start regretting it? He's like, probably an hour after I got it.
Yeah,
I'm
you,
like,
you can't. I mean,
you went to high school with him too, Mike. I'm not going to name drop him because I love him to death, but
Oh shit.
my number one rule: you can't do the neck tattoo, anything above the neck, until you have $1 million in the bank.
yeah, then you do what the fuck you want. Like, you
$1
can
million in the
draw
bank,
your dick.
whatever.
What about right here?
Oh, I date a girl with a
I'm gonna-
tattoo behind her ear, by the way. I like I dig the tattoo. Well, at least on females, Mike. I'm not hitting on you here, buddy, but what is that behind your ear?
Matter of fact, it's a music note, and it was done by Clark Cord.
That's funny.
John Southworth. Cabin.
I'm talking. You know what I'm talking.
He knows what you're talking about.
Dunk, when we make $1 million on this podcast, I want my dick tattooed on your face, okay?
I would never do that because then Beaver would try to have sex with me, dude.
Gotta clip that.
Yeah, definitely say that.
What you got, Josh? Overrated.
Oh, see, yeah, I had a hard time with this one too, but I'm probably gonna go cop out and follow Matt's lead here and take Jay-Z.
Oh,
Completely overrated.
Wow. Yeah, he's definitely not overrated.
Don't
People
feel,
said
I
it.
just don't feel it. See?
what you got, Juice?
My overrated is I'm probably going to catch a little bit of heat from it because he's such a fantastic humanitarian, but his music is dog shit. And that's Chance the Rapper. I just don't like his voice. I don't like his voice. I don't like his music. But he is a fantastic human being, and he's doing stuff for his city. He's doing stuff for the world. I respect that a ton, but can't stand his music. Overrated, in my opinion.
Just gotta give him a chance, dude.
I love a good pun. I love a good pun.
That's your dad joke of the other
Hey,
show.
Seth, I just want to share with you guys from the chat. Seth Rummel says there's a 2 to 3, I'm assuming like minute or something delay on all of 6ix9ine social media posts just to keep him safe.
It's a good one. I like it.
That's hilarious. All right, now flip the question there, Dunk. What's
All
the
right.
next one there?
This is gonna be a good one. This is one I kind of want to hear Mike and everybody else kind of give us an answer on this one. Most underrated rapper. Don't get enough love. Most underrated. Who would you say, Mike?
Man.
Mike Styles.
It's probably gonna be like a lot of people are gonna think, whatever, but I mean, it's J. Cole for me. Like, I don't give a fuck how many people show him love. Like, I don't care. Our diehard fan base, you know, buys all his albums, goes platinum without features, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. There's still a fucking billion people that say J. Cole's boring and that he's not nice and he's not good at rapping. Get the fuck out of here.
I've never heard a J. Cole song I didn't like. That's a true story. I've never heard.
J. Cole will put, he can do anything for the most part. And he'll put you in a box. Like, he'll put anybody in a body bag when it comes to like rapping. Like, lyrically, he's right there. You know what I'm saying? Social issues, he's right there. Just entertainment wise, he's right there. You know, he just, I don't know. Maybe I just like love his story, just being the underdog. But yeah, J. Cole doesn't fucking get enough love. Not at all. Probably throw Kendrick in there too, to be honest. Both those guys.
Who'd you say? The second one?
You can probably throw Kendrick right there, like 1A, 1B. Like, Kendrick definitely, he gets a shit ton of love, but he still is a guy that probably because his social media presence is non-existent. Everyone wants to say he's like not one of the greatest, but every time that he surfaces, it's like the whole world fucking thinks shit.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, I want to go back to J. Cole, the Lewis Street, the 2 songs that he dropped recently. Unreal.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Unreal, man. Just the lyrical be. And
well, not even that. I was just, if I could just have a moment to glow about this guy. The year, like, he just posted his fucking goals list of like what he had wrote out in his journal, what he was gonna do. And if you notice, features was on there. And if you remember, he said, how about I drop on everyone's album? They know what the outcome will be. And he did a whole year of fucking features. And if you look back, I'm pretty sure all those features went fucking platinum. And then he turned around and did an album and didn't put a single person on the fucking album. And it went platinum itself. So like I don't know, just J. Cole, like he's one of those guys where, and when it's all said and done, you talk about top 5, top 10s, like everyone's subjective, right? It's always going to be different, but he definitely deserves to be in that conversation.
When you can spit your life and everything is real and you're 100% honest and that lyrical, that's a true artist to me. Yeah. And that's exactly what it does. When I saw him come out with the Bentley with the dirt on it and the shoes dirty and the mud, he's great. I agree with you 100%. Like when you listen to J. Cole, you believe everything he says and you're like, that is that dude. And I think that's a real artist. But for me, if I can get this back up, my most underrated, Joyner Lucas and Royce da 5'9" come to mind for me.
Yeah, buddy.
Joyner Lucas and Royce da 5'9" are probably my answer.
Oh yeah.
Neither get enough love. Neither. I mean, Royce especially. Like, I've mentioned Royce's name, and people are like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of get the hell out of the circle here, bub. Are we talking hip hop or,
Royce is I couldn't believe that it was up for a Grammy. I can't believe the Grammys gave it love. Like I was surprised. Like that's maybe not showing that he's underrated anymore, but
right.
And there's nobody. I mean, he can. Like you were saying, body bag people. There's few people that could fuck with him lyrically too right now.
Yep, 100%. He's been around for 20 years too. He's been around as long as Eminem's been around. It's like, Josh, go ahead, buddy.
I got another guy that's been around a long ass time, but it's fucking Pusha T.
Yeah,
I felt that coming.
Pusha T, he bodied. He's the one that went at Drake, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I love that beat.
By the way, I think the song where he's dissing Drake, he's also wearing a Colts jacket the entire video. By the way, or he's got a song where he's wearing a Colts Super Bowl jacket the entire video. I can't remember what song it is. I got to go back and look. But
I'm gonna go ahead and pull Pusha T back out of here. Then let's put it
Hey, listen here, Bengals fan, get that.
That Daytona EP was the shit there, front to back.
I fucked with him back with Clips.
Yep.
When he was with Clips and the grinding and all that stuff came out with Pharrell. Yep. That's the first time I remember him.
I think his brother is like a preacher or something, or a Christian rapper or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Juice, who's your most underrated rapper?
Real quick, I also wanted to share some of the comments in the Facebook chat because you guys are commenting and you're interacting. You should get rewarded for it. James Johnson said her name is Hope, but the P is silent on the weekend.
Yeah.
J. Cole. Matt Martz brought up a whole show about hip hop and didn't hear Nas's name once.
By the way, when I said Jay-Z is not the best rapper from New York, that's because Nas is the best rapper.
Yes.
So it works out. It works out that these comments are getting rewarded for sure. No, I actually went local with most underrated rapper slash just like artist in general. A guy that I had on the Juice in the Morning podcast that I hope comes on the Highly Inappropriate podcast at some point. He is also a humanitarian. His name is Zachary Leone. He's from Indianapolis. He's just got a good flow. He's got a really good, almost kind of like a jazzy sound for some of the songs. And just the whole concept of one of his albums was talking about, basically it was him and like a superhero team. And like between each song, there was like a little like a snippet of like what was happening. They were in a bar and they like got into a fight. It's a dope album. Let me look it up just to make sure that I don't fucking butcher it. But while I do that, you guys can move on. But Zachary Leone is my most underrated rapper at this moment.
Mine, I've already mentioned his name is Tech Nine, and for the exact same reason I said earlier, it's the fact that he's been around for 20 years. He has been signed before. He's independent, and for him to be as big as he is now, it says a lot. And the fact is, he's made a song with fucking everybody now. He's made a song with Eminem. He's made a song with Tupac. He's made a song with J. Cole. Literally, he's covered all the bases. And I love that he's finally getting respect. But, yeah, he will always be underrated, in my opinion, because I think he's one of the greats.
Real quick for Zachary Leone, the album that I got introduced to him on was Ion 6, Part 2, The Adventures of Team Alpha. It sounds like a little bit strange at first, but when you listen to the album, it all flows together. It's got a story, and then all of the songs are fucking bangers on it. And then he also just released a new EP called Black Elderberry. So he's dope.
Mike taking that shit to the next level, man.
All right, last question. Let's be quick with this one. Just name your GOAT. Name who you think the greatest of all time is, and then we're gonna go around the horn and let you guys fire off some questions to Mike too, and then we're gonna talk a little NBA basketball, guys. So hell yeah. So go around. We'll start. Mike, who's the greatest of all time?
The GOAT.
I'm going last this time.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
The GOAT is Eminem. You hand Eminem a mic and you hand any other rapper a mic, he's gonna bury them right on the spot.
Yep.
As simple as that.
Josh, go ahead, buddy.
I fucking hate this. It's Eminem.
You say him too?
Yeah.
Juice, go ahead.
I did a 4-parter: Eminem, Tupac, Biggie, and Lil Dicky, because Tupac and Biggie you'll never forget. Eminem is lyrically like, and just battle rapping, all that stuff together, and then Lil Dicky just doing his own thing and he's also got really good bars.
Oh, he's incredible.
Biggie and Pac is, man. I can't believe how did they not get brought up?
They just like, and I know you wanted to make this quick, Matt, but I was actually thinking about this before we started the podcast today. I was actually wanting to ask you guys, and I'll just save it for my question for Mike later.
Cool. Sweet. Mine is, Eminem. I think exactly what Dunk said. I think Eminem can take what everybody else is doing and make it better. I mean, he's almost autistic in a way, like, how autistic kids have like just the specialty. They're like a genius about something, or they have a hidden genius about them, or and he's almost that way about hip hop and the way he just designs rhymes. And like, you literally have to listen to his songs 2 or 3 times and you hear things and you're just like, holy shit, that you didn't catch the first time. And it's like the way it's all strung together. It tells a story. It's like, he probably spends hours on each song. It's next level. It's
Christopher Nolan of hip hop.
Life, probably. Like, he has whole songs that are, the whole damn thing is a triple entendre.
Yeah, and
that's insane.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think hip hop's about lyricism, and nobody is on M's level now. And we talked about this at the bar the other day, Josh. Like, do people put out better songs than M? Of course, but like when you just get down to like the depth of the lyrics, there's nobody can touch him.
The sport of it, I agree.
Yep.
What you got, Mike? Last but not least, drum roll, please.
All right, I might come out of left field here, but I'm gonna go with Kanye West.
Yes, I love Yeezy.
Reason why, man, just to keep it short and sweet, it's like, outside of like his rants, which is what really pisses people off, let's just be real, take that out of it. This motherfucker has been giving us hits on hits on hits for years, from himself, for all your favorite artists. He pushes the boundary for the entire industry. He is a lightning rod, and no matter what he's ever done, even if he's fell flat on his face, he's got up and it's worked out. Like, so, for me, it's like, I don't put him in rotation enough or maybe talk about him enough, but it's like, he's my unsung hero, Kanye West, for sure.
And not only is he giving us those bangers, he is writing, producing, he's doing everything on the track. Like,
making shoes and clothes. Like, I know that doesn't have to do with music, but like, Kanye's like, to me, just from the jump, man. Kanye to me is for sure, he's the Eminem of producing. Like like what he puts into beats is next level. Like, as far as that, like the elements, like I love just putting, you say putting expensive headphones on, or like getting my speakers out in the garage and putting some Kanye on and just hearing the elements that he puts in the beats. It's just next level. It like touches your entire body in a way, especially if you're stoned, but
Kanye is like the Beatles of rap. That makes sense. Like, the Beatles started a lot of stuff in rock and roll, and like they were like the originators of a lot of stuff. Like, Kanye is like the Beatles of rap. Like, if you look back on like the 808s and Heartbreaks album, he took hip hop after that album and flipped it upside down, and everybody ran with that sound. Like, it just took over. Like,
100%.
That might have been the best take you've ever had, dude. That was
honestly, I don't think that's his best album though.
I don't know about best. I don't really
My
necessarily.
Dark Twisted Fantasy, it might be my favorite hip hop album ever.
He's not afraid to be
That's hands
different.
down.
He's not afraid to be different, and every time that he's different, it's genius.
Yep.
Like, but yeah.
Hell yeah. That was a great conversation, guys. Hell yeah. I do. Mike, I don't know how much, or we can talk about there here at the end of the show too. I was going to ask you about your new album, but I do want to give everybody a chance to ask you a question or two too. So whatever you want to, if you want to dive in the new album, wait till the end of the show, because I'm going to let you hoard out, you know, talk about where you can listen to it, where you can buy it, whatever. So it's up to you, man. Do you want to get into that now, or do you want to wait till the end of the show?
Dude, I'm down for whatever. You can kind of get in and out of it as they ask me questions. Like, I'm here to kick it. I want to talk NBA. That's my shit. I love the fucking NBA. So I'm here, bro. Let's do it.
All right.
What questions y'all got?
Dunk, I know you had a few questions for him, so I want you to dive in. I was bumping your album too, writing this layout for the show today. So I did listen to it too when I originally hit you up. I seen it because I actually followed you on Spotify, so it notified me when the album came up. That was pretty cool.
Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
If y'all heard that, follow Mike Styles on Spotify right now.
Absolutely.
Done.
No, if I could ask you a question, I'll keep it. I'll just dive in with a good one right here. I love that you're personal in your music, especially in that new Takes Time track, which I listened to. Very, very well written. Like I felt like I learned a little bit about you without knowing you. And in hip hop, that's like one of the best compliments you can receive, I think. But when you are in like life moments, is your brain just always writing? Like, are you like when like moments are going on around you, like is your brain like, oh, this is how I'm gonna put this? Like, are you all constantly thinking about how you're gonna write?
I think that's fair to say. I think it never really shuts down. Subconsciously, I'm to a point, like you said, that it's just like I'm always looking for something to write about. But I think it's more or less like the writing comes from living, right? So that's kind of where the title comes from, right? Like things take time. Like all those things I talked about in that opening record, and being able to be that vulnerable in that opening record was because I spent so much time just like figuring myself out, you know, deciding like what I wanted to talk about in music and, you know, getting over that shell of giving a fuck about what people think about you. And that, you know, I think my aunt's listening to this podcast, and this is like no shade to her, but it's like at one point, not her specifically, but you worry about what your family thinks, you know, about you just telling your real life and your stories and things that you don't tell to them.
Right.
You know, so I got over that point. So even though they support that, you still, in the back of your mind, you think, yo, my grandmother, if she heard me say that, she'd probably fucking kill me. You know, that's like, so then I was like, all right, cool. But the writing comes from just living. Like I live things. Like this is dope. Like me going on a run and going on different podcasts and having conversations about an album. Like these are things I can go talk about now.
Hell yeah. That thing about your grandma made me crack up because my grandma tells me daily that me and my brother are embarrassing, but she loves us.
It's true. Yeah, it's 100% true.
Now I got to ask, are you a notebook writer, or are you the new age write in your notes section on your phone?
I'm predominantly phone at this point, but I do have notebooks for when I just want to like, if I feel the need to just, all right, I'm going to pick up the pen today. Like legitimately put the pen to pad. There's just something different about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it just feels like I can just go off in a different way because like I said, cognitively, when you write things down, like it means more to us. So when I get the pen and pad out, it's like, it's almost like pulling out, you know, when Jordan was like, all right, I'm going back to Madison Square Garden and I'm putting on the ones and, you know, I'm dropping 40, I think 46, whatever he did. That's how it is when you put a pen and pad out now.
I like that. I love the reference too.
Plus you live in the perfect place. You can fucking go hide out there in the mountains, get high as shit and just put pen to paper and probably create beauty, man.
Yeah, dude, my balcony right here, like I wake up every morning, I actually get to see the mountains on the east and southern side.
That's awesome.
That's a good picture. No, it's the background on my Facebook, I think.
Okay. All right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dunk, did you have another question? Josh, did you have any questions for Mike?
Yeah. I just basically just one. Because I listened to the new album, man. I listened to it 2 or 3 times this week, trying to just get in just feeling it. Something that I think separates like really good rappers and just like your dude that's just trying to rap, just coming up is your ability to flow with the beat and just kind of ride the beat. And I think I was just kind of curious, like, was that something that came natural, or was that something you just had to work on and work on and work on? And then the second part of this would be, do you usually, like, do you kind of write for the beat, or do you pick the beat out to go with what you wrote?
That's what I was going to pivot on that question. That's a great question.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything. To answer the second part, so the specific album was made in 6 days. So we went to LA to work with my guy Trey Wright. He's from Dayton, Ohio, producer, rapper, singer, songwriter, engineer, like Swiss Army knife. So if anyone knows Drake and they know 40, like, he's my 40. He could do it all. So we went there and he made the beats live on the spot for that entire album. And it was crazy because what's nuts about it is you just get that feeling. Like, you go to your favorite concert, you hear those songs, you love it, you look to your left, you look to your right, and you just feel different. That's how I felt writing it. So when the beat was created live in the moment, I feel like that's when I had my best work. And that was the first time I was able to do that. So for anyone who's heard my previous projects and listen to this now, and you see the difference in the growth because they were created completely different. So I prefer to, yes, if I'm working on a legitimate project sonically, yes, front to back, I want to create it in the studio. I don't necessarily want to get sent beats. But when I just want to go off, like this year, I got a goal of doing 36 songs, which doubles up the amount of songs I released last year. Yeah, I just want beats. I just want to kick it at the crib, smoke, drink, whatever, and just get my bars off. So that kind of answers that second part. But the first part, as far as like riding the beat, that's awesome that you took notice to that. But I think it naturally came. Like Matt said, like I started out as a dancer, so I always kind of had a natural feeling to be able to catch. I had rhythm. I always had rhythm. Always could find the beat. Always could hear a pocket. And I just studied the music. I studied everybody from Jay-Z, T.I., Jeezy, Bow Wow. All those guys are my favorite artists coming up, even R&B. And I just really felt, I was like, okay, this is just how you get in touch with it. This is just how you get there. So it kind of did come naturally early on, of just having that compatibility or syncopation. But I definitely take pride in not using the same flow on multiple songs. Yep. Like that is one thing I'm a stickler about. I want to change my style because that's where my name comes from, Mike Styles, so many different styles. I don't want anyone to ever say like, oh yeah, this is that flow you use on this song. And I'm sure it'll happen, but my goal is to always be something different. I don't want to, have the same cadence.
Well, I just want to say that the flow, the rhythm and everything, the rhythmic flow is superb, man. It's really, really good. Like I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it on my way to work and kind of at work on my way home. So I really enjoyed it.
I will say that, because I've listened to you since your beginning, man. I've always thought you had talent for sure, but I will say for sure on the newest album, your flow it's the best it's ever been. I think that's probably what's going to set you apart and get you to where you want to be. So keep at it, man. It's good shit. I liked it a lot, and I do encourage you to check it out.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Mike, I had a question that I wanted to kind of like give you a little bit of background and then let you answer it. So, doing the podcast is something that I've done for a long time. And then also I tried doing some stand-up comedy, like kind of right before the pandemic and everything's kind of started. And one of the things that you always get from friends and family, like, are you doing that like little radio show thing still, or are you still doing your little comedy skits? Like what's going on in your life? And it still annoys the shit out of me. And what I would like to ask you, Mike, is what's something that friends or family kind of talk to you about or ask you about that annoys you when it comes to what you're doing as an art?
My pet peeve, number one, fucking has to be, don't forget about me or don't forget about the little people. I just feel like if anyone
we had one shot together at a bar.
Well, that part too, right?
Yep.
That part of like, oh yeah, I met you once. Like, you think you owe him some shit. the number one though is, yeah, don't forget about us little people. And it's like, anyone that knows me knows that I give a shit, about the people I meet. That's from day one, you know what I'm saying? And anyone who knows my father, knows that too. So, I mean, for me, I think, and it's some people that you talk to, that you genuinely care about, that you reach out to, and, they say that one question, like you said, Juice, how's the music going, or how's your little music thing, or things like that. And it's just like, yo, it's not a thing. Like,
right.
It's a career. Like, it's happening. And, and if I can be vulnerable, I've been kind of waiting to just get this shit off my chest in public. But it's like, I had a family member at one point, when I moved to Salt Lake to change my life, to get a job, to continue a better job. I've always worked, but a better job, and to continue my music career, through the grapevine, I heard one of my family members legitimately was just like, oh, he's still rapping? When's he going to get a real job? And it was like, bruh, like, I have a job. Like, I've doubled my income in a year.
Pay my bills.
I have a fucking day job. And since when could you not have a day job and have a dream and pursue that? So that was my first real, I'm kind of, just going on a tangent here, but that was my first real moment where I was like, this is the shit that people talk about. When, like, you lose people on your way to the top, or you got haters, or be the people closest to you and shit like that. And it's like, yo, don't let anyone ever tell you can't do shit. That's just period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And don't let anyone ever try to tell you, like, what your life should be or shouldn't be, or how you should go about doing your life, especially from people who are as successful as you. Yeah. And that's not saying that.
Never met anyone doing better than me.
Yeah, and that's not saying that anyone's better than anyone else because of what you have, or the jewelry on my neck, or whatever car they may drive, vice versa. But yo, if you ain't showed and proved, and you ain't put skin in the game, or as my gambling friends say, if you ain't got money on this shit, your opinion don't matter. Yeah. Like, so if you ain't put no money in, like, you can keep that comment. So those are probably the two or three biggest things right there.
Yeah, and
the thing with that too is, like, everybody can tell you how to do it, but they ain't never done it.
Nah, 100%.
Everybody can how to do it, but they ain't never done it.
And I wanted to kind of ask you too, just to kind of piggyback off that after that little bit of tangent we went on. Does it ever frustrate you, and is it similar to you? Because the successes that we've had and that I've had with stuff, it's like the people that are strangers actually support shit more than the people that are my closest friends and family.
Oh, for sure.
I would say, yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. And the thing is, I think I say this with a grain of salt, because some of the people closest to us, like, I'm not sure how long, you guys have been doing this, or Matt and even DJing for a long time, etc. But there's people that honestly, they hear about it every day. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a best friend that runs a podcast. Literally, the reason why I moved out here was because of him, Josh Credit and Brian Watson. Shout out Bet the Rent. Go check their podcast out if you need some good sports picks.
Oh yeah.
But I don't listen to their podcast every week because I'm with them like every damn day.
Right.
I hear about it a lot. I watch sports with them a lot. So it kind of sits in the back of my mind, and I forget to support like that because I support them in real life.
Right. That makes a bunch of sense.
Yes, I think I kind of had to get to the point to where it's like I couldn't take that personally from certain people. And then I also had to realize that nobody wants it as bad as you want it. Like, nobody wants your dream as much as you want your dream. No matter how much you drill it into their head, your wife, your girlfriend, your best friend, grandma, they're never going to want it truly as bad as you do.
Right.
100%. I tell my, I'm in sales, and, it's very, very high paced sales environment. I mean, if you've ever done phone sales before, I know, Mike, I want to say you've been in sales before. Didn't you sell cars for a short time, I believe?
I've been in sales pretty much my whole life. I'm in sales.
That's what I thought. And one thing I wanted to bring up is just, it's, you got to be level headed. And I tell my bosses too all the time, I'm like, I want more than anything, I want you to be honest with me, especially in your feedback to me, because at the end of the day, nobody's more critical of me than myself. So there's nothing that anybody else can say that will hurt me, because I'm more critical of myself and where I want to be than anybody else can be of me. And it kind of correlates to what you say. And I mean, I think that's why people like Eminem are so great, is because they will, they have no problem laying everything out there on the line and say, here's who I am, judge me, I don't give a fuck, that's who it is. And I honestly, those are the people that become great, dude. So I think it's awesome you've developed that mentality. And like, I've tried to, and honestly, and I talked about it on the last show, there's a lot of good that came out of 2020. And I think it's sparked my motivation to make 2021 possibly the next best year of my life, essentially. So I definitely relate to what you're saying there. And I think that's awesome.
Make 2021 better. And we started off with fucking Arthur Morgan taking over the house. That's great.
No. And the last thing I had for you, Mike, I want you to start this part of the conversation off, but then I also want everybody else to kind of weigh in, because I was going to bring it up when I said the GOAT artists, when it's Tupac and Biggie. Why do you think Tupac and Biggie are still relevant to this day and are still considered some of the best rappers of all time? And also, do you think anything kind of factors in with the dying early? But I mean, that happens to rappers nowadays, and we've forgotten about them a week later. Do you think it's like the modern times? And I'll just let you dive into why you think they're still relevant, aside from just the fact that they were really good artistically.
God damn, that's a good question.
I mean, geez, a lot to unpack. What? Excuse me. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they were two of the first, really young, successful Black artists in, I don't want to say modern hip hop, but like early hip hop. Like, if you look back right before that, you really had the 80s era, right? You had the way the hip hop was going there. And you kind of had the mainstream hip hop, which is what hip hop was at first. It was very mainstream, very, very mainstream. Coming after like disco, things like that, party rock, all those things. So when you look at that, and then you come into like Biggie and Pac and the way they were talking about the game, shortly after, NWA and things like that, I think they just had it, and it was just tragic because, yeah, they were great artists, but we just seen two young people die, on national, pretty much on TV, before our eyes, because of them. I'm speaking from a Black perspective. I know fans are all colors, but it was within our own community. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're going to be martyrs forever because they were the first two that ever passed from like a serious beef over things that could gang violence, and different things like that in the streets. So I don't think they'll ever be able to not be in the conversation. But then you add their music on top. I mean, like, you don't even have to say much about that. Like Biggie just coming from New York, the way he was spitting, the way he was flowing, and the way they were just coming back to back to back to back to back. Puff coming out, and just helping Biggie get that, radio single. And you got Pac being so poetic, but straight from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So you had so much different diversity coming from those two guys, and they were just really telling our story as Black people. You know what I mean? They represented us. So I think they'll always forever stand to those martyrs like that because of, kind of like boundaries that they broke in good ways and bad ways, even though we had to learn from them passing and still learning to this day. So, I mean, I don't know. I could talk about them guys forever, man.
Well, I see it as 100%. What you're saying. They did not create gangster rap, but they 100% made it popular, and they're kind of like the Beatles in that matter. Elvis was the first rock and roll star, but the Beatles are what made rock and roll popular. 100%. And I think that's where Tupac and Biggie are in the conversation of gangster rap, and by far the best era of hip hop. I mean, it's not even close. So, I mean, that's why they will always be talked about.
If I could add something too, like my little 2 cents, because I love this shit too, Mike. This is probably one of my favorite episodes we've had because this is the shit I could talk about all day.
I shouldn't have started smoking.
With Biggie and Pac, in my opinion, I think you can't, like you said, you came from the 80s, era. And I think like the NWA kind of scene came on towards the end of the 80s. And I think that's when gangster rap really took over. And I think those kids at that time, which are your Pacs and your Biggies and your Redmans and your Wu-Tang Clans and like just that golden era of hip hop there in the mid to late 90s. just engulfed it. And I think hip hop went to a next level when that happened. And when that happened, it was before internet. So like you didn't have this new artist in your face every day that you could stream. Like
you trade cassette tapes with your buddies.
You literally lynched on to your favorites. And when an album dropped, you went and bought the album, had a physical copy. Like I feel like you
do that shit, by the way,
to artists back then than you do nowadays, because there's so much turnover and so many new artists in your face every day. And I think when they passed away, it literally destroyed a ton of people. Like it was like their superhero passing away. You know what I mean?
And they went out on top. That was the shit. We were like, it was like if you have it'd be like if Bitcoin disappeared right now. It's just gone forever. If I can just get my financial bag. Like I have Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. Everyone who's invested should be invested. It's going, right? It's the new vehicle. But anyways, it's like if they just snapped that shit away right now and it just died forever. Like I'd talk about Bitcoin forever. For the rest of my life, I'd be like, yo, I remember that one time when I was about to make, 100,000 just for doing nothing or even more,
Yeah, which is your point too. It's why Kurt Cobain was so big when he passed away. He was on top. You know what I mean? Or like Lennon or any of those big artists like that. So, yeah, I agree with that. For sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, this conversation's fire, but we did talk about how you wanted to. Of course, I love, honestly, and I do have to admit something to you. When me and you used to get into some fucking heaters over LeBron James, and I just want you to know that I would try to intentionally get under your skin, and it was never anything personal, but it was just Matt being Matt. So, but I got you to block me on Facebook at one point. So.
Hey, I wanted to talk about that. I was like, man, that was an epic time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was you being you.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally. We wouldn't be friends on there now if I took it
right.
But yeah, you should fucking ride me for LeBron. But hey, I don't care what anybody says, man. He's the GOAT of our generation. He's changing the game. And I deserved it. I deserved it. I was in a lose-lose situation. Right? I was living in Ohio. I wasn't happy with the Pacers organization after how they handled the brawl at the Palace. And the Pacers are going against the Miami Heat in the finals, but yet I'm committed to be a LeBron James fan. Like if I switched over, I'm going to get fucking ripped. You know what I'm saying? If I stay, I'm going to get ripped. So I was like, I'm just going to stay. I'm already here. And I want to be bandwagon. So. Yeah,
and when I explain to you, it's not like I have a real old school mentality. And it's just me. I'm a competitive person, as is. So like my mentality with sports is that you're either with us or against us. And honestly, like I could care less about LeBron now because he's in the West, but he was in the East and he was our biggest rival. So that is why he's Tom Brady to me in the NBA, like 100%. That's the way I see him.
Hey, I'm an Indiana boy, but I love Ohio. I got to give it up for Ohio. So I had to rep. Like, it was so cool living there, though. I will say that. Living in Ohio when you got the greatest player on the planet at the same time, like, I was like, dude, is this what it was like in Chicago? This shit's fucking nuts. Like, it was cool. It was definitely a cool ass area, for sure.
That's awesome. You were in Akron, right? What part of Ohio were you living in?
I was living in Dayton. So I was still about 3 hours away from Cleveland area.
I hope you're in a good
dude. I almost. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Because I can't stand like the suburbs / rural part of Ohio, dude. I went there for a wedding. I got friends that live there. It is just not
good weddings out there. Out in the hills, like it's hard to navigate and stuff. But I love Ohio too, so I love the state parks out there.
Did you say you lived in Dayton?
Yeah, good old Dayton, 937.
Hey, do you know the Gentleman's Club there? It's called the Gentleman's Club. That's where I got the $1 blow ski.
I don't know if I know about that one. We used to have Diamonds Cabaret quite some time. BYOB, you know what I mean? We'd hit the club. We had the bottles in the trunk. We get the bottles out the trunk, take the Uber to the strip club. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Ohio is amazing, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a nice strip club scene in Ohio. I was like, for Midwest, like I'm speaking from Midwest. There's people out here like, bro, have you been to Atlanta? And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
But I'm saying for the Midwest, if you're going to pick some places, Dayton's not a bad place. If you're in Shelbyville, Indiana, 2 hours, get your hotel.
Just
make sure you tell you why. So you don't get in
Make sure
trouble.
you have a dollar in your pocket. Go.
2 shows in a row we've talked about strip clubs, just to let you guys know. I'm going to start keeping a tally.
It's actually this is episode 91, so this is 91 shows in a row we talked about strip clubs.
Cincinnati strip clubs are awesome, but man, it's so hard to beat Louisville.
Mike,
It's so hard to beat Louisville.
there's a question in the chat, Mike, that I wanted to shoot over your way, as well as to the other sports fans. Are we taking Ohio State over Alabama? This is a betting question.
Are we taking the points? It's like 7.5, right?
Going money line.
Yeah, money. You got to do money line.
No, I'm not taking money line Ohio State.
You think Alabama blows them out?
Yes.
You think Justin Fields is going to beat Alabama?
Fuck yeah.
No way, dude.
I'm calling upset too. I just think and what's funny is nobody thought Ohio State should even be in the tournament, and that's hearsay, whatever. But I'm calling Ohio State's beating Alabama too.
No,
Ohio State's getting 7.5 points right now.
Yeah, I knew the line, but I could see maybe taking Ohio State in the 7.5 because it's a national championship. Be close. I could see maybe that score.
I don't know, man. I know.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey,
Let's go. What?
That was the quickest outfit change I've ever seen on a podcast.
I mean, I think he changed his underwear there too. That was incredible.
LeBron, Ohio, get out of here, dude.
LeBron James, Ohio State football team.
All right, just hey, Brewer, as long as you face this way, we don't have to see the name on the back. We'll be okay.
Right. Let's go back to that list. Rapper that pissed me off.
And then
yeah, Ohio State though. Yeah, we're taking OSU plus 7.5. You got to take a dog. We love a good dog.
The question that, I'm a Notre Dame homer. I love them, but I'm also a realist. I know they are overrated 99% of the time. But watching that Alabama game, dude, those Alabama players just look fucking like they are next level talent.
I mean, you understand these little fuckers are groomed from birth to be Nick Saban's little trolls. Okay,
next level talent, dude. I'm telling you. They do not look scared. They look smooth on every single play. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to count them out.
Juice, that Clemson team that waxed your fucking ass looked smooth too.
Yeah. No, not nearly as smooth. Not nearly as smooth.
That was pretty fucking smooth ass weapon they gave you.
See, he ain't lying.
Hey, a team has a letdown every now and then. They beat him earlier in the year.
I have a quick question for Mike though, since he's an Ohio guy apparently. How do we think? We think Joe Burrow is going to be these guys' fucking daddy here soon?
No.
Fuck no.
Oh, fuck you.
Is he? Are you a Bengals fan? Mike, are you a Bengals fan?
Fuck no. Too cold. I mean, do I need to go make another wardrobe change? Fuck it. Just keep throwing shit on. Nah, man. Burrow's definitely going to be great for the Bengals, but I mean, I'm never going to fucking take another team over my team. I got too many friends that are Bengals fans. Like, Bengals have been sorry for so long, and I feel sorry for them. Yeah, I'm a Colts fan until I die. Yeah.
There we go. Hey, rapper who got back on my good side.
Oh, that's not a question. We bleed blue over here. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go to training camp together. Remember that?
I was gonna tell that fucking story when they talk about Lil Wayne waving to the fan section. You remember when Reggie waved at us? Like the coolest shit ever happened in my life.
Oh yeah,
like
Reggie was throwing up the U at us.
Yeah, we're not talking about that one. We're just like rivals in fucking every category of sport, but
yeah, that was a cool ass experience because I talk about that. There was back when the Colts had training camp at Terre Haute, it was much more personal than it is now. Like you could be really up close and personal with the players, have conversations with them. I definitely miss that. But yeah, we used to go out there and talk shit and talk shit to each other and yell at the players and get autographs. And I definitely miss those times, man.
Absolutely.
I do want to get your input on the current NBA system, and what do you think about my Pacers being as high as number 5 in the power rankings right now? Strong, you got to say I wouldn't say they're overperforming, but do you think a team like the Pacers, who have 6 really good players, no great players, well, Sabonis may be great, do they have an opportunity to make some noise in the playoffs? And what do you think of the current NBA season?
I mean, I think the NBA is kind of still the best it's ever been. Only getting better.
Talent than ever, for sure.
Yeah, more talent. I don't know, more balance. Don't want to get into that, but you just got stars everywhere. You know, you got people rattling cages. But as far as with that being said, as far as the Pacers go, I mean, anybody really has a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. But I just think the one thing with the Pacers is they just never had that guy. And that's not to say Sabonis isn't the guy. That's not to say Oladipo is the guy. I could pull or not say Miles Turner can't be the guy.
Right.
But they don't have that's the guy, the star power, man. When we really went, we had Reggie Miller, dude.
Yep.
Like arguably top 5 shooting guard all time. Like we had a superstar, star. And the Pacers don't have that right now. I think they have a lot of 2 guys, guys that can be the number 2 on a team behind, whoever that stud would be.
Right.
And the same thing falls, into some other teams out there. But I mean, maybe I'll eat my words. I hope I do. I'm always rooting for them at the end of the day. But I think they can make the playoffs for sure. How far they go, I mean, that's just. I'll
call it on the show right now because we've had so many first round disappointments in a row now. But the Pacers will win a playoff series this year. I'm gonna call it right now here on the show. They're gonna win a playoff series. Okay. Dunk, you don't believe it? They're gonna win a playoff series because they're gonna. And they're still not healthy, and they're. I mean, they've dominated some really good teams. So I mean, I think we'll be. I think we'll be okay.
Did he get above?
We know the playoffs is different. Right?
It sucks because Milwaukee's going to win the division every year for who fucking knows how long. So
of course,
man. So it puts a shit matchup.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, Matt, like, I know this not to be like facetious, but it's kind of like, I mean, it's different in the playoffs, right?
No. Well, of course, it's different in the playoffs, but you understand too. Like, we've also dealt last year. We were missing Sabonis. The year before that, I mean, and Victor wasn't healthy last year. And then the year before that, we were missing Victor. And we did 2 years before. 2 years before now, we did take LeBron James to 7 games, and arguably was the other than who they played in the finals, probably the best team they played that year. And again, it was pretty much the same group of guys we have now. So I mean,
it's game 7 and almost.
I was at game 7 too. Talked so much fucking shit. It was awesome. And I got to ask you, Mike, being from Ohio, and I don't know how different it is, but like I'm sitting there talking shit, and all these Cavaliers fans were like, why don't you come to the dog pound and talk shit? I'm like, what is it? And I told the guys, like, it's just the same bunch of assholes in different jerseys. I was like, how's it going to be different? I mean, you know how I am. I don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
We're leaving the game and we're walking back to the car, and there's like Cleveland fans taking pictures of the witness, the witness thing on the side of the building.
Yeah.
And they're taking pictures of it. And as we're walking by, I'm like, get your pictures now. He'll be in LA next year.
Yeah.
He's resigning. And, they all start getting pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I was saying the exact same thing leaving. I mean, I was pretty bitter, of course. The game didn't go how I wanted to. But, yeah, I was like, well, hey, good luck in LA next year, LeBron. It's going to be great. So
we're in the gift shop buying LeBron jerseys, and I'm like, dude, just wait 6 months. They'll be 50% off.
I love it. So, Mike, we'll just ask you, we'll just early pick right now. NBA Finals, who's it going to be? Who over who?
Man, you already know. I got to go. The boy James going to take them back. The Lakers are going to the NBA Finals in the West. In the East, it may be because I just want to see this matchup, but I hope the Brooklyn Nets, man. I really hope the Brooklyn Nets.
You don't have to ask me. He just said my answer.
Yeah,
but I mean, they're a squad too. They're a squad. Like if KD and Kyrie play the way they're playing, man, well-oiled machine. They ain't missing the in-game shots like that too often, especially from both of them. So.
No, I think 100% that if the Nets are healthy, if Kyrie's healthy, they should be the favorite in the East, and I think they can beat the Lakers.
They'll win it all if they stay healthy. They'll win it. They're a problem right now, dude. They're the best team I've watched all kinds of NBA already this year. that is by far the
Well,
best.
I mean, it's still their defense. Still, I mean, it's super early on, right? But their defense still potentially could be liabilities at times, depending on what kind of schemes and players you got. Because I mean, let's be real. Like, let's just go ahead and say the two names. KD, right? He's gonna get buckets. No one's stopping him. But who's stopping Bron? Who's stopping AD? I mean, who's stopping Kyrie? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are still. I know these two are some of the best scorers of all time.
LeBron,
you know what I mean? If KD not the best, that is true. LeBron will stop himself at times, 100%. But we still have to understand, like, the guy still has the game on a string. Like, it's a puppet. He plays basketball like a fucking puppet.
I think that's going to come down to. I think that matchup's going to come down to can Trez and Schroeder win for him? Because I think that Kyrie and Durant are kind of going to cancel out LeBron and AD. It's going to be those role guys, and I think Schroeder and Trez are really fucking good.
Yeah,
and honestly, I mean, they were my favorite last year, but I think the Clippers will turn it around. Kawhi's too good. Paul George is a head case, but he's too goddamn good. I think
fucking these
PG poop will fucking bury himself, dude. Get him out of here.
No, you're probably right. I'm not saying that, but like I feel like why can't they get this? Why can't they get this shit together? I don't get it. But to me, I still say
they don't have a point guard.
Yeah,
Matt Beverly is a defensive-minded point guard, so they have no general on the floor.
Right.
Paul George is very soft-spoken. He spoke out for the first time in forever the other night. Kawhi clearly doesn't talk because he got a mask on his face. Like, and that's no shit talking. Like, that is a team that is still struggling with the fucking identity. They have an identity crisis.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they'll get it figured out, and I still think Kawhi Leonard's the best player in the league. Like, I get it, LeBron. I think when LeBron's on 100%, like, but that's the thing about with LeBron. Like, I think he's a lazy defender. If he was as active on defense as Kawhi is 100% of the time, I would say I would give him the nod over Kawhi. But I think Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA right now, in my opinion.
LeBron turns it on when he needs to. You got to think.
No, 100%. I get it.
Years old, dude.
No.
Like he takes a step back and lets AD do his thing. Like, he gets more minutes.
No, I get it.
All around, I would say AD's the best in the league, but people forget about Durant. Like, I don't think we've seen him the last year.
He's
all the way back, and that dude is a problem.
Yeah, he's a sniper. That's what's his nickname? Easy Money Sniper. That's his Twitter handle, right? I can't, but like, yeah, I mean, it's literally the dude from anywhere on the floor can just sit back and just drain buckets. And I mean, that's why you said before the show, or not before the show, before the season, you said if the Suns are healthy, they're right in the mix too, because
healthy too.
In today's NBA, if you can just lights out shoot like that, you can beat anybody. And 100%, I agree with you.
They're not beating LA. The only team I think could possibly give LA a problem, maybe the Mavericks. I kind of like the Mavericks
when they get healthy.
And the Mavericks healthy,
Yeah.
the Trailblazers healthy, and then your Clippers. But I just don't think the Clippers have the leadership to do it.
No, it's gonna be interesting.
That's the only thing that Clippers need. Clippers need a leader. But yeah.
Yeah, I did want to get into that a little bit, but I'm just gonna go ahead. Let's see here, Juice. We've had some pretty damn good conversations on the show. There's a few things that we do, Mike, at the end of the show to kind of wrap everything up. And the first one I'm gonna bring up is Dickwad of the Week. I just want you to give me somebody that's been in the news over the last week that you think's a real fucking dickwad. Okay. And you can think on it. We can go around the horn here. Mike, take 5 minutes to think about it. We'll go around the horn here. And I'm just going to say, the rioters in fucking Washington, D.C. And why I say this, it's not because I don't love the fact that people are storming the Capitol, because I do. I mean, it shows people that it can be done. But you're really whining about something that, I mean, you lost. Get over it. We just bitched 4 years ago about, Democrats getting upset that, that they lost the election, and they bitch for 4 years. Are we going to do this every 4 years forever? Like, fucking just, can we be adults here? Get over it, move the fuck on. The president has such little control over your daily life. If you fucking think about it, wake up, and I want you to write down everything you do one day and tell me how much control the president has over your life. And then you'll start thinking about your life a little differently. And, let's move on. It's fucking stupid and annoying. And so I'm going to say, if you stormed Washington, D.C. this week, you are my dickwad of the week. Duncan, go ahead, buddy.
I'm going to say it's probably going to be a lot of people's answers. And also, like, my mind started working. Like, you said if we're going to do this every 4 years, you know, like Democrat, Republican, if somehow third party ever got voted, is it just going to be both sides together storming? Like,
No, it's gonna be the shield of libertarians around the White House smoking weed and just sharing blunts with everybody. Say, hey guys, chill out. It's a good. Hey, I mean, honestly, everybody listening to this show, if you walk outside and have a conversation with your neighbor, you're gonna realize that America's not that bad. But the problem is the media has convinced us that the world is bad, and everybody believes it. But the world is not that bad. You know, the country is not that bad. These guys are fucks, and do they give a fuck about us? No, but you know, like it's not that the world is not that bad. Go outside, have a conversation with your neighbor, an honest conversation like we're having here on the show. And you know, there's no reason why you can't be positive. Because I'm telling you right now, it is easier now to make money than ever before because we have this thing called the internet. Okay, so if no matter what position in life you are in, you can get out of it. That's all I'm saying. So that's my little spiel because we talked about mental health a little bit, Mike, and I know you want to talk about motivation. We talked about that before the show a little bit. So that's my little spiel on politics and all the BS that's going on right now.
Back to storming though, like how do they do that? Like how weren't people just getting popped in the face? Like I'm not
literally just walked by.
Like
yeah, I'm not gonna go as far as saying it was staged.
If you storm a federal building, like that should be 5 stars immediately, right?
No, here's what I'm saying is like I don't think it was staged, but they definitely got say, hey, they knew what they were getting into by letting them fuckers in there. I think, and I think I'm not going to go off and say it was a political stunt, but I think in a way it was a political stunt. I'm not saying it was set up. I'm saying they said, hey, let's let them in because we know it's going to fucking cause some shit. And I'm just very confident. I think we're being played like fiddles from all levels of everything right now. So I won't get into that because I don't want us to get kicked off Facebook. But yeah, go ahead,
Chris. Did you give your dickwad of the week?
I agree with Matt.
Yep.
Okay.
Josh, who's your dickwad of the week?
Well, while I agree with all of you guys, and I would like to also state that I think what you said, Matt, was absolutely perfect. Just get out and talk to your neighbors because we all have slightly different ideas, but we're all pretty decent people. I shock people on the daily, especially at work, when I tell them, hey, I'm liberal Democrat. I'm dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, man. I've been for a long time. People are so shocked by that. They're like, man, you got guns, you got this. Yeah, just talk to fucking people. But my dickwad of the week, since we all agree that the Capitol guys is going to be fucking Beaver for
sleeping in again. Elliot Beaver, dickwad of the week. That might be a 2 in a row for him, by the way. I nominated him last week, I'm pretty sure. Juice, dickwad of the week.
My dickwad of the week is as soon as this all started happening, the Capitol getting run on and overrun and all that stuff, I was just loving all the memes, all the pictures, all the jokes that people were posting on social media. I loved every single bit of it. But the dickwad of the week is the entire group of people that would go on every post and be like, oh, do you think it was funny that somebody died? Or do you think it was funny that this happened to the most secure place in America?
My answer is always like,
I do.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah, that you yeah. I mean, you reap the consequences sometimes. You know,
like,
what's the saying there?
One of my favorite jokes was something along the lines of, I think this is the best moment for Nicolas Cage to steal the Declaration of Independence. Like,
I don't care what anybody says, and I of course all my liberal friends were super.
They had like all the people there in the middle, and they had Nicolas Cage standing in the back.
Yeah, I love that meme, by the way. But what I was saying is, like, I had all my liberal friends getting upset about the guy carrying the podium, the House Speaker podium out. And I'm like, I think that's fucking hilarious. First and foremost, your taxes paid for that shit. So I don't know why you're upset about it. But in second off, I mean, that guy, I mean, for life, he's a legend for life. To me, that's worth it. He might not be able to, he might not be able to even be allowed in a public library the rest of his life, but
the Buffalo guy with the bear costume.
Yeah.
It's a legend for life, dude. It looked like Arthur Morgan. Somebody I seen said, when your custom character gets a cutscene in a video game.
By the way, did you see my Ultimate Fighter post on the if you haven't been on the Facebook feed, I have a fighter, and it's basically describing like 6 of the different riders, and like you get to pick your fighter. And my question is, if it's the zombie apocalypse is popping off, who you picking to be your ultimate fighter here? And I picked a guy that looked like he was on bath salt. So
But no,
the berserker at the bottom
holding the book, like she did not belong in there. they were like, this lady looks like she just showed up for the tour and they took over.
the biggest point I wanted to make when it came to that, like the comedy thing, that like being the dickwad of the week, is like, we need comedy and we need entertainment more than anything when things are going bad. And I feel like just a moment like this set off some of the best creative people, the best creative minds in the world. And I know we don't want things like this happening all the time, but fucking laugh at it. Have a good time.
Yeah, that's what I said yesterday. I was like, man, turn off the news and enjoy life. Got it. Are we going to get pissed off? And Mike, I will ask you this, because, I had a lot of our friends post, like if it was black people storming the Capitol building, which may be true. I'm not saying you're wrong or people are wrong in saying this, that they would have been shot. But like, are we actually getting mad about things that didn't happen? Like, like possibilities? Like, is that where we're at as a country? Like, and not saying it's a wrong argument, but what is your take on that?
I mean, I'm gonna have to say just no. And the reason why I say that is because, like, I mean, I was on the front line protesting, this year for the first time in my life, and being out there for the right reasons and seeing people, police abusing authority flat out,
right?
Because we're in the street. You know what I'm saying? We're exercising our actual right, which is to march down the street and say we disagree. Was shit broken? Was shit burned up? Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Do we condone that? Absolutely not. But with that being said, man, you're talking about the motherfucking Capitol.
Right. No, Capitol, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Capitol, like the Capitol. I don't know how many times I have to say that for people out there.
Right.
And a motherfucking cop was taking selfies in the building, escorting women out by hands, but protesters get tear gassed and rubber bullets on the front fucking line.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is this: who were the people? What were we out there protesting? Black lives. So who's gonna get shot if we were out there?
Right.
We tried to protest at Capitol before, and there was an onslaught of the National fucking Guard waiting for 6 black guys in suits.
Right. No, and
so,
I
mean.
They started
I understand where you're coming from. It's kind of like, yes, like it's just like, I think it's just a way of letting out frustration.
Right.
And right now, really what it was is, to me, this is the biggest spit in the face that you could do to America, in so many different aspects and so many different angles, but specifically for, I guess, from the BLM side, speaking just from my perspective, it's just bullshit. Not that anyone should have got hurt. Not that, I want to see people get arrested, and I don't really give a fuck what color you are. But we know damn well that, black people going to jail and they get maced and paddy wagons is on deck. So this is what we talk about. That's white privilege. I mean, I'll just say that. That's what happened. You go like this and you react totally different because they look like you. And that just shows to show that the policing system wasn't made to police people that, aren't from the black and brown and minority community. So that's why they don't react that way.
Yeah, and I did.
And that's sad. That's very sad because, like you said, it wasn't a racial issue.
Right.
That's just one highlight. It was the fact that our Capitol got raided.
Right.
You know what I mean? By people they want to call protesters who were rioters, and then got treated completely differently because that's what they look like. So that's really, it's a disgrace. It's sickening. Like, it really is. It's
right.
But no, I mean, that's my piece, and I'll let y'all talk. But that's just how I feel about it, and I think America really got to wash their hands right now. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. I just I just don't get the idea of being upset about something that you really, I mean, you can guess that would probably happen, but you don't really know what would happen unless it happens, in kind of instance. So like, I don't get why you should be upset about it.
Quit beating around the goddamn bush. It would not be how it went down yesterday.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah,
here's the thing: is there was black people in the crowd that rushed. It wasn't just all white people. I mean, like that. I mean, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know, and I don't get the point of being upset about something that didn't happen. So like, it's like if your girlfriend hung out with a dude at a bar, but she never fucked him. You're mad just because that dude was with her. That, like it makes no sense to me. Like it didn't happen, but you're still madder just because like.
I'm not mad.
Well, it's because it happened.
Because a lot of people are.
I'm just saying.
No, I get it. No, I get it.
It was just because of this. Like they called to yesterday or the other day protest, right?
Yeah.
And they called Black Lives Matters rioters.
Yeah, but
and then the way rioters got, the way rioters got treated, which were Black people for the most part, versus when they get arrested or they break a crime, or like you said, they have a cell phone in their hand or a Subway sandwich when walking into your front door, or a 12-year-old Tamir Rice with a toy gun in the park, you get shot on sight. But yet you can go at government property and pretty much be white. Look at all the pictures.
Right. And
like, it was white people, man. Like it was Caucasian people that was fucking up our nation's capital. And when you loot, you shoot. That's when the shooting starts. Motherfuckers was looting, and nobody get shot.
Right. And I'll even piggyback off of that and say that now I feel like that a lot of like Fox News and like those guys are trying to save their own ass by saying, well, there was a lot of like closed circuit cameras, like all these guys are going to get arrested, all these people are going to face due process and things like that. And I was like, I don't know though, this still seems a lot different than just a few months ago.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
like they weren't saying like during those protests and potential riots and things like that, they weren't saying, oh, we caught a lot of these people on camera, like we're gonna make sure they get due process and arrest individuals and things like that. Like it was shoot them with rubber bullets, tear gas, and other stuff. So I see both sides, and I'm a huge conspiracy theory fan. And the video of the actual security opening the barricades to let them in.
Yeah, it was like
that to me is conspiracy written all over it. Like you let them in because you knew what was going to happen. You knew the narrative was going to be set. Like, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it was conspiracy, but like, I mean, like, let's be real. There's something going on. Like, I mean, I think, I don't believe that anybody just went and marched on the Capitol and took it over, because I don't care what color you are, you would be shot. If I went there right now and tried to I would be shot. I don't care. It don't matter if I'm purple, black, it don't matter what color I am. I should be shot for marching on the Capitol. I mean, that's just how it is. And I just don't believe everything you say on the news. But just to wrap up this conversation, all I want to say is don't let the media control the narrative in your life. So I get completely what you were saying as far as, okay, we call white people protesters, but we call black people rioters. Stop letting the media control the narrative. I get what they fucking say, but that doesn't mean what the overall narrative is. That doesn't mean, Mike, I'm sure you've got white neighbors. That doesn't mean that, white neighbors think that you're a rioter because you went out and protested. And like, that's what pisses me off, is we let the media control the narrative, and then we get angry based on the media's narrative, and it's not really the real narrative. I think 90% of America agrees with you as far as this issue is concerned. Like, but that's not played out on TV, and that's what pisses me off. Like it's always back to every Republican's a racist and hates black people, and if you're on the left, you get what I'm saying. It's always turned into a political.
They don't tell it like it is. They don't tell it. You're right. They don't tell it like it is. Like right now, we're telling it how it is. The media wants to sugarcoat shit. And they want to do this and do that and appease people, and that's because everyone, like you said, is so aligned with these two-party systems and brainwash and think the government's this and that, and they can't think for themselves. And they think they can't run their own lives. So I agree with you. Do your own research. Rule of 3, man. Check out 3 different fucking sources before you make an opinion on something, and then add yours in there.
Fear sells for news.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I'm glad we're having this conversation. I don't know if you had the chance. I told you to check out the conversation we had with Thurman a couple months ago on the show, and it was pretty incredible. Thurman's been begging me to come on the show, and Thurman's a pretty intelligent dude, and we always like to go back and forth with each other. Same reason me and you go back and forth. No, normally sports, politics, whatever. But if you haven't listened to that show, and if you're listening to this show live, I do challenge you to go back to listen. I can't remember what episode it is, but it's entitled. What was the name of the show? Cancel Culture. Cancel Culture. I believe with Thurman, right, was the name of the show. So check that out if you get a chance, guys. But every week we wrap up a show with our probably most popular segment people talk about all the time. Essentially, we go straight to Google in the middle of the show, type in a Florida man, and whatever pops up. If you ever been to Florida, we know it's full of meth heads and retirees and just people doing crazy shit. So we go straight to Google, we type in a Florida man and whatever crazy shit a Florida man is doing, we're going to talk about. So Juice, do we have a Florida man ready?
Yeah, probably the best Florida man I think I've heard in a while. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let me pull it up here. Share screen and bam. So you guys can see the screen. Can the Facebook see the screen?
Yeah, they should be able to.
All right. Rioter who stole Pelosi's podium identified as Florida dad.
Yes. Let's go. Speak of the devil. Okay.
A man seen gleefully stealing what looks to be House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's podium in a new, now infamous photo from Wednesday's Capitol riot has been identified by the Bradenton Herald as Adam Johnson, a father of 5. He traveled from Paris, Florida to D.C. to join a group of protesters who later stormed the Capitol to oppose a peaceful transfer of presidential power. The 36-year-old was quickly identified from a photo that went viral where he's seen grinning at the camera. He could face felony charges for destruction of government property. The mob was eventually brought under control by police forces, but not before 4 people died and dozens were arrested.
He definitely looks like a Florida man, dude. This guy has a golden tan. Like he's got the long hair, golden tan.
Just got done surfing yesterday for sure. My buddy said the funniest quote I got on because I did a caption contest for us with this picture, and I said the best one I got for sure is his pants are way too tight to be a Republican. So, but yeah, I mean, like we should have known this guy's from Florida, 100%. I don't care what anybody says. We all need to lighten up. This guy's a hero. This is fucking amazing.
And I would do every show on it. Like I would have the podium and I would stand at it every show.
Oh, I'm looking for it on eBay. I don't care. I might go into serious credit card debt to buy this thing, but
that's so funny that we were just talking about that, and that is the Florida man.
Dude,
man.
That thing is probably that's 2 G's to ship that son of a bitch, dude. That thing probably weighs 50, 60 pounds.
I'll come pick it up. I'll drive down there to Florida and pick it up. All right, Mike, before we head out, here's your chance. I want you to completely whore yourself out. Where can we follow you on social media? What do you have coming up? Just spill it all, buddy.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to check me out, I'm everywhere at Style Like Mike. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm usually active on Instagram 10 hours out of the day, unfortunately. So that's where I'm usually at if you want to talk to me. My album, Things Take Time, is available now. It's on all streaming platforms. Just type in Mike Styles, you'll find me. Dopest song on there right now, Prayer Hands, got about 10,000 streams already. Album's been out 1 month, so having a whole lot of success for that. Got a music video on the way, more Vino. We actually just came from a shoot doing that. I'm about to head to that next after this, go to something else with that. So that's the outro. You know, I love drinking wine. So if you're a wine drinker, definitely take a listen to that. If you want some hip hop and something a little different than pop a bottle. So more video on the way. Things Take Time video out now. I mean, just working, man. Just really working. Got some records lined up. Got my whiteboard to my right. Got the microphone right here. So just really plan on getting it this year. Really getting after it.
Hell yeah, bro. I 100%. When all this COVID bullshit's over with and you start doing some shows again, we're all going to come out there and raise some fucking hell with you. So, I mean, we'll figure something out for sure. I'll
come back. No, I'll come back. We'll figure something out.
Hell yeah. So we appreciate you being on here, man. You can come on anytime you want, dude. And as soon as anytime you drop music, and I'm gonna get to you behind the scenes here because I do some travel videos and I need some music for that. So we'll talk behind the scenes there. But dude, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm glad to see you're doing well and doing better than you ever have. And I want you to know for sure, from the beginning, I've always supported you. But people that chase their dreams are the people that I look up to, especially people people that are my friends. So I want you to know that I look up to you as a friend, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And it's awesome that you follow your passion and keep kicking ass, brother. And I'm glad you're just trying to be the best you. And those are the people that I try to surround myself with.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't even have enough words for that, but yeah, we go way back, and it's likewise. You know, you're killing it in your own right. You guys got an amazing show. You know, glad I was able to come on here and be a part of it. You know, have those serious conversations, but also be able to have a bunch of fun and shoot the shit. And, you know, still know that we all come from different backgrounds, but you know, we kind of give a little hope to the rest of the world that you know this shit's possible and we can do it, and we can still have fun, and it's great to really fucking live it. So, appreciate it, guys. And yeah, I'll come back whenever, man.
Hell yeah, bro. So make sure you guys subscribe, rate, and review on any podcasting app. Make sure you like the video on YouTube. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already, and ring the bell. That way you're notified every time we've got content coming up. We are creating content out the ass this year, guys. So you're going to want to fucking follow us on social. Facebook, HI Entertainment. That's Highly Inappropriate / Highly Inappropriate Entertainment. We're on Twitter at Highly Inappropriate, and as well as on Instagram at Highly Inappropriate Podcasts. Again, Mike Styles, appreciate you coming on, guys. Peace out. What a great episode, guys. Can't wait to see you next week.
Peace out, boys.
Peace.